I recently received an email from Frank B in Toronto asking, what is a Jon Line? He says, I recently heard the phrase in my local dive shop and I didn't want to show my ignorance. Please help. I got you, Frank. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Divers Ready. My name's James. As always, so great to see all of your smiling faces. This is the next in our series of videos that we call Quick Tips, which are usually viewer suggested videos. So if you have a question that you think would fit a Quick Tips topic, stick it in the comment section down below. This week we are talking about Jon Lines. What are they? What are they used for? And honestly, do you even need one for your diving? We'll head over to the workbench and check it out. You guys subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and I'll see you over there. There are a number of scenarios in scuba diving where you might want to stay in a fixed position in the water column, but the conditions, be that swell or current, have other ideas for you. In which case, it's a good idea to use some kind of a tether. One example of this would be one of my all-time favourite dives, the Blue Corner in Palau, where you use a reef hook to hook into the rocks because the current is so strong and you just want to stay there and look at the schooling sharks. A Jon Line is essentially the same thing. It's a tether used to hold yourself in a fixed position, but this time whilst making an ascent up a fixed mooring line or up line. So it assists you in holding your position while making decompression stops. It was named after John Hulbert, who is one of the New Jersey wreck scene OG wreck divers from back in the day, and it basically consists of, if I open mine up here, about 3 to 6 feet, they vary different styles and so on, of webbing, can be rope, can be line, can be twine, all kinds of different materials, but something flexible, and 2 clips. A clip on one end to secure to yourself, and a clip on the other end to wrap around a fixed mooring line. So you would just wrap this around the mooring line, put that through on itself, that's going to hold tight and steady. You're going to clip the other end to yourself, be neutrally buoyant, and do your decompression stops. Now, there's a number of situations when you're going to want to do that. Down here in South Florida, we do a ton of wreck diving, and there are basically 2 distinct styles of wreck diving that we do on any given wreck. The first would be called what we call hot drop and drift, where we're doing our deco on the end of a SMB that we've shot from the wreck. We've made a free descent down, done our dive, shoot our bag to the surface, and we are doing our deco drifting in the current in blue water. The second kind of wreck diving we do is a fixed line ascent and descent, where we're going down an anchor or a mooring line to a wreck and coming back up that same line. And it's that second instance there where you might need to use a Jon Line. If we're doing a fixed line ascent in strong current, as is typical on wrecks like the Duane or the Spiegel Grove, more often than not I will deploy my Jon Line, clip off to the fixed mooring line so that I can hang in the current downstream. This line will be taut and holding my position at the fixed point that I want to do my decompression stop at. I'm neutrally buoyant, and that saves me having to hang on to the line and basically fly like a flag or Superman off of the side into the current, which quickly tires your arms and is suboptimal for healthy decompression. Another reason to deploy a Jon Line is if your stop depth is crowded with other tech divers. Quite often we'll be on the upline in Spiegel Grove, there'll be 6 or 8 tech divers there all trying to hold a 20-foot stop. So you can imagine in current that gets really crowded and you end up throwing elbows in each other's masks and friends become enemies. It's not pretty. So one way to get around that is if you deploy your Jon Line and somebody else deploys their Jon Line, you can actually move divers back from the crowd and create space. It can allow other divers to go up past you or come down, depending on what their dive plan is and where they're going. And basically just creates a sort of horizontal space where you're not hugging the line and people can enjoy a little bit more breathing room. The third reason you may want to deploy your Jon Line is if you are doing a fixed line ascent in heavy swell. If you can imagine the waves moving the mooring ball or the dive boat up and down, and you're hanging on to that fixed line, well, you're getting moved up and down as well. So as a big wave comes through, you're trying to hold a 20-foot stop, all of a sudden you get lifted to 6 feet, then you get dropped down to 28 feet or whatever, and you're not doing optimum decompression at your decompression stop depth. That is very, very bad, very, very unhealthy. So instead, what you want to be doing is deploying your Jon Line, and then this can act as kind of like a cantilever where you hold the same position in the water column. This line will be moved up and down by the mooring line, but you're neutrally buoyant at your target stop depth. I also want to make the point as well that a Jon Line is not a buoyancy aid. If you are using a Jon Line, you need to be neutrally buoyant. If you're positively buoyant and the Jon Line fails for any reason, you're going to be pushed up to the surface. If you're negatively buoyant, you're going to sink. So it's not a compensating tool for bad buoyancy skills. You need to be neutrally buoyant if you've got your Jon Line out. So there you have it, Frank from Toronto, and anyone else who's ever wondered what is a Jon Line and do I need one for scuba diving. I hope that answered your question. If it did, if you learned something from this video, give it the old thumbs up, share it with your dive buddies, and consider subscribing to our channel if you haven't done so already, because it helps us to keep making these videos. If you have a suggestion for a topic for a future Quick Tips video, stick it down in the comments section below. And until next time, my name's James. This was your Divers Ready video for this week. Dive safe, dive often.